President coming under pressure to resign. Additional two lawmakers are under investigation for illicit enrichment. Three persons killed in St. James. U.S. coach fired while Colombia to face Argentina in COPA finals. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. U.S. President Joe Biden's imperial re-election campaign hit new trouble yesterday as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said it is up to the president to decide if he should stay in the race. Celebrity donor George Clooney said he should not run, and Democratic senators and lawmakers expressed fresh fear about his ability to beat Republican Donald Trump. And the sudden grave pronouncement, despite Biden's determined insistence he's not leaving the 2024 race, put on display just how unsettled the question remains among prominent Democrats. On Capitol Hill, an 8th House Democrat, Pat Ryan of New York, publicly asked Biden to step aside. But I tell you something, Democrats should focus on Trump and let the Republicans focus on President Biden. President Biden should stay right where he is, and all you Democrats should focus on keeping this country as a democratic country rather than to have Putin puppet become the next president. Check out the Republicans' manifesto for 2025, and if it does not scare you, then you should probably start learning your ABC. And here is just two of those manifestos. One, to replace all government workers and head of department with only Republican appointees. That means they're going to replace the DOJ, replace the police chief in all divisions across the country, replace the army generals, and every government department must be run by MAGA. And these, as you know, are not very bright people. Then they're going to withdraw US from NATO and cut off all aid to Ukraine, allowing Russia to take over. Then the next invasion will be to take over Poland, Switzerland, and any other neighboring countries. And you think they won't attack America after? Then wheel and come again. The Integrity Commission in Jamaica says an additional two lawmakers are under investigation for illicit enrichment. The information is outlined in its 23 to 2024 annual report tabled in Parliament on Tuesday. The Commission says these referrals have no bearing on the six parliamentarians referred for investigation in the previous reporting years, 2022 and 2023. The Integrity Commission says when the two reporting periods are taken together, this therefore means that an aggregate of 8 parliamentarians have been referred to its investigation division for illicit enrichment over the period April 2022 to March of 2024 this year. And the issue here is all these alleged parliamentarians suddenly becoming rich by either thieving taxpayers' money or by other illicit ways, and they do investigation after investigation, but we never hear any names or anyone getting arrested or going to jail, meaning that these reports are meaningless. The police constable who was arrested in a narcotics sting operation by the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime CTOC branch in St. Elizabeth last month has been offered an $800,000 bail. George Powell, who is assigned to the Port Antonio Marine Division, was arrested on June 10 along with two other men believed to be Haitian nationals. The foreigners are yet to be identified, and all three have been charged with possession of, dealing in, and trafficking marijuana. When they appeared in the parish court in Santa Cruz on Tuesday, Constable Powell was offered bail following an application by his attorneys Michael Dean and John Jacobs, and he is to return to court on September 5th. Meanwhile, a teenager who allegedly broke into a Kingston home on Sunday, July 2nd by removing two glass window panes has been charged with housebreaking with intent. He has been identified as 19-year-old Richard Jackson, otherwise called Ben, of Dunkirk in Kingston. Reports are that about 4 p.m., Jackson allegedly removed two glass window panes from a house and entered it. And it is reported that the owner of the house returned, found Jackson in his home, and summoned the police. Jackson was subsequently arrested and charged, and his court date is now being arranged. The St. James police have launched a manhunt for two suspects behind Tuesday's deadly attack in the division, which left 3 people dead. 17-year-old Jaden Bennett, 26-year-old Rashawn Williams, and 62-year-old fisherman David West were killed in the attack at 16 Upper King Street in St. James. A police team confronted the hoodlums, who left behind two weapons following a shootout. And it's reported that sometime after 5 p.m., the police were called to Upper King Street to respond to a shooting. When they responded, they were greeted with gunfire, which led to an exchange. When the shooting subsided, the 3 victims were seen with bullet wounds at separate locations. They were pronounced dead at hospital. and during a further search of the community by the police, 2 illegal firearms, a 9mm pistol, and a shotgun were seized. The St. James police have named 32-year-old John Roach as a person of interest as they continue their investigations, and he's now being asked to surrender immediately. On to sports. Greg Berhalter, second term as coach of the United States men's soccer team, has reportedly been cut short. According to an Associated Press report, Berhalter was fired after the team's first-round exit from Copa America raised doubts about his suitability for the job ahead of the 2026 World Cup. So he was having issues right along with this U.S. team getting them over the top and making an improvement, but the U.S. did not, so Mr. Berhalter has now been fired. Meanwhile, former head coach of Jamaica's senior national men's football team, Hal Grimson, has now been appointed manager of the Republic of Ireland. Hal Grimson recently resigned as coach of the Reggae Boys after 2 years, departing the role after their elimination from the Copa America following 3 successive defeats just 2 weeks ago. And how he's able to find his job so fast, that means it was already in the works. On to COPA, Uruguay as usual came out playing rugby, but the referee would have none of it and quickly started handing out a yellow card. And soon as Colombia scored, the dirty play started again, and a Uruguay player grabbed a Colombian in the back, and the Colombian player retaliated with an elbow, and even when lifting up his shirt to show the referee still gave him a red card. And this left Colombia with only 10 players, but pretty soon it was halftime, and it gave them some time to reorganize. Colombia led 1-0 at halftime. The second half was crazy as Uruguay with a man advantage completely dominated in attack but just could not score. Both teams made several changes, Colombia playing mostly defense while Uruguay attack, but after 97 minutes no more goals were scored and Colombia now made it to the final and will meet Argentina on Sunday, July 14. Canada and Uruguay will play for third and fourth spot on Saturday. On to Euro, England will face Spain in the Euro 2024 final in Berlin on Sunday after a last-minute strike from substitute Ollie Watkins in the 90th minute sealed victory over the Netherlands. England look to be going into extra time for the third successive game after Hurricane contentious first-half penalty equalized a thunderous early strike from Xavi Simons until Watkins struck. And of course, England played a really great game, winning that game 2-1. And don't forget that the best news and sports takes place on this station. If you missed the news, please go to YouTube, type in Jamerican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, and subscribe. That's news and sports on your favorite radio station. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.